So you're going to learn one way or another. So here's what we're going to do. And if they fight me, they're going to get more. If they don't, then take it like a man. I'm raising men. They're going to take it like a man. I give them a spanking. I sit down. We talk afterwards and we hug. And I said, don't make me do this. Welcome to the Maverick Entrepreneur Podcast, where business success meets personal purpose. Here we empower entrepreneurs to strike that perfect balance between massive growth and unwavering values. Dive deep into strategies, inspirations, and stories that ensure you set your foundation in faith and don't compromise your family on your ascent to the top.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maverick Entrepreneur. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about parenting. And we might also include how to not raise communists. So get ready.
What's up? You ready for another episode? And I know this is a hot topic today.
So ready.
So ready? Well, I think especially after watching a bunch of youth come back from Summerfest.
Including our own
For the very first time, which is our church camp, our junior hire. Wow, that's weird to say. Our 11-year-old. That's not even junior high.
Our 11-year-old who now thinks she's in college because she went away to summer camp.
Oh,
yes.
Gosh. Well, I don't even know. Probably we needed to do, we should have done this parenting podcast before, and we wouldn't have sent her. But now that we sent her, now we're going to have to level up our parenting game.
Okay.
I love it. So this episode, really what I find is I want to help, entrepreneurs, business people, busy people still know that your first ministry, number one, is your marriage. And number two is your if you have kids, how do you still be successful, raise kids with intentionality, that you don't raise a bunch of punks? And I think
it's a daily battle.
The daily battle. Yeah. So, it's interesting, babe. I dug out some old memoirs. So my wife and I, this is Life Book. This is our Life Book. We need to update it, by the way. I was looking at the pictures in here of our children, but this is actually your Life Book. And if I go to parenting, there's a whole section on parenting. So when we got married, we went and did this program called My Life Book. And this is before we had kids.
Yes. No. Well,
no, the first time we did it.
Okay, got it.
The first time we did it. And I did this before we even got married. And when I went through Life Book, I realized, man, I better go put a ring on it. The second time we did it is when we had little Micah Faith. There's a cute little picture of her. But I was going to pass this over to you. You should read what you wrote about parenting. The one thing in here.
You sure it was awesome?
It was awesome. But the Bible says in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it. And I think we've stuck to that verse since day one. And we have some pretty awesome kids. But I was trying to figure out how many friends of ours even sat down and took the time. Have they thought through what being a parent is? And in ours, we talked about our premise. We talked about our purpose. We talked about our vision for parenting. Can I read you what you wrote for premise?
Sure.
Premise. Who I am as a parent is the most important role in my kid's life. We set a great example for our kids. We create a safe environment. We protect our kids. We provide for our kids. We set up boundaries for our kids. That was our premise. And then the vision was our kids are happy and fulfilled, and they love their family. Our kids love God. Our kids have been given a great life with lots of opportunity. Our kids are healthy and beautiful. Our kids are independent and smart. Our kids love people. We are a strong family unit. We spend quality time with our kids. And you wrote, Micah loves her mommy. Ha!
That was my vision before. I think Micah was a year old at that point.
Yep. Yeah. And then our purpose, I want to be a great mom so that we leave a legacy and create people that make a difference in the world. I love being a parent and the joy that it brings and inspires me to be the best I can. God bless me with the responsibility of being a mom, and it's my job to help them reach their fullest potential. Has that purpose changed?
No, I love it.
I love it. And then we have a whole strategy with Micah and some of the cutest pictures. But I wanted to
But then we had boys, so the strategy might need to change a little bit.
The strategy is changing, but this is just the intentionality of that we were thinking about parenting before one, we had Micah Faith, which is
Mhm.
now this tells me this is about 10 years old,
Mhm.
and our new updates, but our philosophy hasn't changed. But do you remember when we were going through all that? What were you thinking about? I remember we were doing a deep dive. It was like hours in a room. We watched a video on parenting and the purpose and coming up with ideas. But I remember when you and I were formulating all that, I was thinking how important it is for so many people to think about their premise, their purpose, and their vision for parenting.
Mhm.
Um, and me reading that to you, what thoughts come to mind?
Well, I think at that point of our lives, we were both, had we not done that and gotten on purpose for our parenting and our family, I think we would have parented out of default by the way we were parented, which depends. Usually for us, wouldn't have been a great strategy. So I know at that point, it was kind of a vision for the future now. That's 10 years ago. And we have an 11-year-old, 9-year-old, and 5-year-old. But I can imagine myself at that point not really knowing what I was getting myself into
Yeah.
with 3 kids, a girl and 2 boys. And my husband always wanted more kids, and I always said no. So here we are with 3 kids, and that's the story. Because essentially, I have 4 kids, including Dr. Matt. But we'll talk about that another day. Um,
That's interesting. It's
but it
probably
has
true.
been
It's probably true.
really important to us to parent on purpose, parent how we want our kids to turn out versus how just by default the world would make them become. And so I'm not saying that we're perfect. I don't think, there's not a day that goes by where I don't question a decision I made. Is even this morning, my daughter wants to go to the mall. And I told her the past 2 days we went shopping and I spent money and I really wanted her to be able to go to the mall and have fun with her friends. But I had to put my foot down and say, today you need to spend the day at home and find something to do. And maybe you can make some money so you can go shopping another day.
Is that why
And
she set
so,
me up to suddenly do all these things I need her to do?
yeah, so
Mm.
it's been really cool
I
though.
told her the mall burned down.
Yeah, I think she looked online and she's
Oh,
pretty smart. So she
mm.
figured out it wasn't.
I
But
thought
it's
that
been really
strategy would
cool.
work.
It's summertime right now. I don't know when this video is getting released, but our kids are out of school. And so it's been interesting to see you get to spend a lot more time with your kids when they're out of school and you get to see the fruit of your parenting. And so I have 11-year-old going on 15 and wanting to shop and get her nails done and do all these things. And I have to use a new way of parenting versus just saying, no, I have to have a conversation. Well, do you think that's a good idea? Do you have the money to do it? And it's more than just a simple no. It's actually a conversation now to help her make the right decision. So, yes, it's an evolving thing, but without having the foundation of what we wrote out all those years ago, we would be blind. At least we're on purpose and approaching it day by day. But if you don't have a purpose, then you'll go by default, which usually isn't the best way.
And since our kids were young, we've always, we make sure we put them to bed and we talk to them about what their high of the day was, what their low of the day. We have very EQ, emotionally intelligent kids that can talk about their feelings. Sure, they're going to throw tantrums. They're kids. Sure, they get low blood sugar. Sure, they can, but they are very kind kids. The one thing I can say about our kids, they're very kind. They're very sweet, and they're when they need to be, they're very respectful.
Hmm.
But they
They're
all,
kids.
yeah, and
They're
they,
kids, but they always get compliments
yeah,
on how they treat others, which is very important to us.
yeah, and I think teaching see, kids aren't, they're not born and then they are molded. So what happens is if you don't understand that you're molding these young little minds, there was a book that I read a long time ago, and it's great. It was talked about uh, strong fathers, strong daughters, and in this book, it really woke me up to the fact, like, wow, because I used to say, oh, they have daddy issues. They have daddy issues. And you'd hear that all the time. And I'd be like, man, I don't want to raise kids with daddy issues. So I read this book and I cried in the first chapter going, oh, crap. This is pretty serious. And between 0 to 7, this author says that they just need so much love and connection and touch and hugs and reassurance and affirming that I was like, okay. And she said, you can't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
0 to 7. So I made sure I was loving, kissing, hugging, rubbing their backs, telling them stories, engaging with them since they were born. And I'm telling you, they still every night ask me,
Hmm.
to rub their back and to tell them a
Hmm.
story. And I love that. but it builds such a confidence in them that kids that have that affirmation are more confident. Then between 7 and 13, there's the stage that they're going to push boundaries. And she said, this is the copying stage where you got to cop them. You got to be on their butt. And I call it, oh yeah, parenting. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I call it, oh yeah, parenting. And they go, what's that stand for? And I said, on your ass parenting. But it's oh yeah parenting. That's what I'm doing. And because I have to be on those kids to show them boundaries so they know that though if they cross a boundary, there's consequence.
Oh, yeah, and our kids get spanked.
Yeah, I'm going to spank
No
our
question about
kids.
it. I think I had to spank Maverick every single day almost when he was like 3 to age 5. He was so
Hard for you.
difficult, a Maverick. Yeah. But now he's the sweetest, most sensitive of
Yeah,
all our kids,
he
I would
is.
say.
He is. And so I would tell you that on that how you cop well, teach them there's consequence. If you do that well, they say when you're 13 to 18, then you coach them. But if you didn't cop them and teach them consequence, the coaching it won't work out well. And then you'll feel like you're a cop during their high school years. They don't want to be copped
And
anymore. They want to be coached.
that's what I had to do with Micah's conversation about going to the mall today. I could cop her a year ago because she just would take no for an answer. But now it's like this conversation. I have to coach her to the right decision.
That's right. That's
And
right.
then she finally said, it switched like within a minute. She's like, actually, I don't want to go anymore, Mom. And I'm like, well, why? And she goes, I just decided. I'm like, fair enough. Great.
Yeah, and I think it's all on a journey, but you got to learn how to unconditionally love. You got to learn how to cop well. You got to learn how to coach well. Because the thing is, if I don't teach consequence during those years, when they get into high school and there's people drinking, and they get in a car with someone drinking, or it's drinking and driving, and they get in a car accident, someone's life is on the line, there's consequences
Right.
that we cannot change. So that's why it's imperative that we cop well, teach on consequence. Like, I was just, it was interesting. I was trying to tell my friend about this, and he's like, yeah. And in my masterminds, I'm always talking about, dude, we got to teach our kids consequence. Money, you can't just give them everything they want, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you got to teach them the value of money. You got to teach them there's consequence when you don't have money. You can't just keep buying them, or they get entitlement. I can't tell you how many of our friends' kids are freaking entitled. I can't tell you, I have a huge patient base and I take care of hundreds of kids a week. I can tell you the entitled ones and the ones that have parents that are in their lives in a pretty big way. And if you want to know why the world we're living in, we have an entitled world. No one wants to work. They don't even know what hard work is anymore. It's amazing. And some of the people that I respect the most, they take their kids with them everywhere and teach them how to be enrolled and everything. Doing my kids this summer, they're coming to work.
Yes, they're coming to work. But before we talk about that, about how you went shopping with Maverick to buy something for me, and you taught him this whole lesson about money and the value of the thing that you were going to buy.
I do all the time, but what was it?
For my birthday.
Yeah.
You told me this whole story, how you went to the mall.
Oh, yeah.
And he was so surprised something cost this amount.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tell that story, but the thing with kids, they have to learn the value of money. So it was just her birthday and we were going shopping. And so I was looking at a couple of different things. I was looking at this new luggage set that matched one of these, bags I had bought her before. And then we were looking at some diamond earrings, and I was teaching the kids we could do one big gift, or we could go buy her some different outfits and they can each buy her an outfit. And I was trying to teach them value and money. So we went in and looked at the diamond rings, and the guy put them up there and he goes, yep, these are $35.99. And they're like, Dad, get the diamonds, get the diamond earrings. I was like, dear Lord. Okay, they have no clue what's going on right now. I said, but guys, let's go look at the bag that I may want to buy, Mom. Let's look at the value of it and let's decide. So when we left that diamond store, that jewelry store, just this last week, Maverick goes, Dad, those were so beautiful. And I said, yeah, how much do you think they were? Oh, yeah, they were $35.99. I said, $35.99. And I go, see, he just sold you. And that's not true, Maverick. They were $3,599. What? For those little things? What a ripoff. I said, diamonds have high value. I can't believe it. Thought he said $35.99. I said, I know, right? So when you go to the next store, we're looking at Louis Vuitton. We're looking at perfumes. We're looking at all this stuff. And so when he brought this bag down, this luggage set, he goes, this is 38.40 something or whatever the price was. And Maverick goes, $3,849. And the guy goes, yes, exactly. And he goes, well, I thought you said, 38, 40. And he goes, nope, you said it correctly the first time. Maverick goes, well, at least this is bigger. Mike is like, yeah, Dad, this is a big gift. Those other ones were small. Let's do this one. I'm like, we're not done yet. Let's at least get her for some perfume today, and let's go look at these outfit stores. So then we bought her the perfume. We went to this other store, and then I was teaching them how to find mom's vibe. So look for a cute girl that looks kind of like mom, and then if you like what she's wearing, let's go find her where she shopped. And we were walking through the mall, found this cute girl, looked like mom, and asked where she gets her outfits. She told us we went to the store. We'd never been there before. I said, we're not shopping at Nordstrom again. So we went in, and then they decided the value for them was to buy these 3 outfits. And they each could then pick this really cute outfit. I liked the branding. It was really cute. I knew she'd love it. So anyway, they did this whole process. And on the way home, in their mind, they got mom the greatest gifts ever. And they were so proud of them. And they could not wrap their head around like, oh, we only spent X amount, which was like 500% less than what we would have spent on like some big luggage or this.
It's because you were at Goodwill.
Oh, please.
I'm just kidding. No.
And anyway, so they said, Dad, I can't believe how much people spend on that. We got her way better gifts, stuff that mom's going to love, and we saved so much money. I said, well, you got to understand.
So you
and
saved
Maverick,
money by buying me.
You saved, yeah. But Maverick was so cute. He started thinking, Dad, when I work at your office, you only gave me $50. I would have to work there, and he was trying to add it up into his head how many days he would have to work at the office in order to buy mom those diamond rings and earrings. And I could see his little brain starting to smoke.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't even figure out how many days it was. And then he goes, Dad, I can't believe that's how much stuff costs. And it was such a good lesson. But how many people that we know don't ever, they just keep buying stuff. So these kids don't have any value.
Yeah, they don't have any context.
But I want to teach that one story on consequence.
Oh, okay.
So a friend was going out, and I was just talking about mastermind this consequence, and I told my boy, hey, you better we're going to go look at Christmas tree lights. Remember Christmas tree lane or whatever it was? Candy corn lane or whatever.
Candy cane lane.
Candy cane lane. We were going to go look at all these lights for Christmas. I said, hey, get a jacket. I don't need a jacket. I said, all right. So we left, no jacket. We get there, sure enough, it's cold out. Guess what he wanted to go, I don't have a jacket. And my wife goes, oh, you could have mine, which I know then she would have been cold and been miserable, which then I would have given her mine, which I would have been cold and miserable, all because my kid was being stubborn and being a little punk. So I said, babe, he needs to learn consequence. So I let him freeze. Which in San Diego, there's no such thing as freezing.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So you know what I'm saying. Don't think I tortured the kid. But I let him suffer the whole time, and I taught him a lesson on consequence. Now let me just tell you something. Because of that one sucky trip for him, it did ruin his night. He was cold. He wanted to go sit in the car. We had to listen to him complain for about 45 minutes. I let him go sit in the car early. He is never, when I say, hey, bro, don't forget a jacket. He doesn't push back on me anymore.
I think he wears sweatshirts every day.
He wears sweatshirts all the time.
It's 85 degrees in San Diego, and he has a sweatshirt on.
He's got PTSD. But what I'm saying is he learned real life consequence. And if we don't teach our kids consequence, we're going to have more problems. So I think that's a big one. What were you going to say about it?
Oh, I was going to say how during the summer, we always try to get them to go to work with Dr. Matt. So they can have little jobs at True Chiropractic, wiping down tables.
They are write-offs for me, and they are on payroll.
Yeah.
So they which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but they are mostly for my social media posts. They're great write-offs, and if you keep a kid under $12,500 a year, which it just went up, they're a write-off for your company, and they don't pay taxes. So. We'll teach about that in a minute.
And they love being a part of everything that we do. So They have been just tagging along with us when they're out of school. They're tagging along with us, doing what we do.
And how good of a helper is Maverick?
And yeah, even at the house, we have 11 acres on the property, and we just tell Maverick, like, go pick stuff from the garden and wash it, and we'll give you $5 or whatever. And he's like, all right.
So during the school year, we only pay our kids for personal development. So if they read a book, and they can give me a book
Grades.
report, they get money for grades, good grades. They don't get money for chores. Chores are being a part of this family. So you're gonna, if you want to live under this house and get all the benefits that come with this house, and get fed, then you're going to be a part of this family and be a contributor. That's rule number one. Rule number two is, if you want to make money, then you need to develop a skill set, which is your mind, which is what can you bring value to the family as far as outside that. So they read a book, they give us a book report, they get good grades, they get it. I'm going to pay on achievement, not based on chores. So that's just one distinction I like to make.
Mm-hmm.
But in the summer, we put them to work, and they can do things around the house that are outside the normal chores, like picking the garden, like, I got to teach
Watering the plants,
watering all the
little stuff like
plants.
that.
We're I'm teaching them how to drive the lawnmower. But this was a cute thing. This was 50 creative business ideas for kids. And I take my kids through them. And I've done this before. But if they're creative, then you got to find out. If you want to start a business, you can do it. How much money did Micah make at the river this year?
Oh, yeah, she did a lemonade stand. She made so much money. She
It,
made like 70% profit, like over what she invested.
She borrowed a $25 on a loan. I gave her an interest-free loan of $25, and but I told her she had to pay it back because I'm teaching her business. She went out and crushed it so hardcore. I was thinking I need to go out and do a lemonade stand, and I was thinking she'd make maybe $50.
Yeah.
And for a full day, she only made $25 profit.
She made like 100 and something.
She made $183, and that's after she paid back my loan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And it was amazing. And I was like, you need to do that every weekend. But if you have creative kids, and you got to, you could teach them how to be a face painter and balloon artist. What could they do? So Maverick and Micah write their names down on these things. So I know if you have a techie kid, they could be a social media influencer for you, tech support, web and design, teach them something, social media. Last summer, we sent our kids through etiquette school.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call that? What is etiquette school called? I can't even remember.
I can't remember either.
Oh, well, but we sent them through it. You can teach them on YouTube. That's how to sit at the table, how to have dinner, how to use a fork, a knife, what plate, what glass, don't put your elbows on the table, how you should be a conversationalist, all these things in etiquette school, finishing school. That's the name of it, finishing school. But for techie kids, they should be either watching YouTubes that are going to be better for their life or not. Otherwise, they're going to watch trash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so sad how many people just put them on screen time, and they don't watch documentaries. They just watch trash. I just noticed my kid was watching Fortnite, which I'm going to go have a conversation. It's like, dear Lord, help us. But if they want to be a chef, are you teaching them? Micah made homemade ice cream the other night. Where'd she learn how to do that?
Yeah, she followed a recipe.
What do you know? You mean you didn't go hand by hand and teach her that?
No, she did all of it herself. I had to crack the eggs to get the egg yolks out. She's still learning that.
That was the best ice cream.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was great.
So teach them how to be chefs. What are they doing this summer? For any kid, are they on trash duty? Do they have fruit stand? A car wash? If you have a car, they could be car washers. Okay, window washers, Christmas tree disposal. My kids. Maverick is going to be an entrepreneur for sure. Hence, I named the podcast after him. Merrimer, we're still working some stuff out. He's a little taker right now.
Mm-hmm.
But even Micah is a little entrepreneur. She's so far has owned a bead company, a necklace company, a lemonade company. She wants to do a baking company. She wants to do her own fruit stand.
Right.
But all these things, she's not making enough money. So she's very frustrated with the clientele right now, which I love it. So she's thinking through all these things. If you're around snow, tell them to shovel snow, build a snowman, sell them, makeup artist. Oh, she's into that right now.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
yes.
gosh,
That's a big investment, though.
Personal shopper, art instructor, pedicures, whatever it is.
You should give that to Micah. Today
Kidpreneurs.
she was running out of ideas today when she told me she was bored. I said, "Then you're not creative."
Yeah, she needs to. But just a couple last things. You know, do you have any thoughts on what you're seeing? I mean, you ran kids church. You
Mhm.
helped develop so many kids
I
program, the
just
academy.
yeah.
What can parents do to level up their families?
Honestly, I think most parents don't do discipline right, and I think that we've come up with a really good structure system for this, which you can share on.
No, tell them.
Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So timeout, because most parents, including myself, because my parents just yelled at me and then scared the crap out of me. And then sometimes I got a whooping with a belt. But then I don't know. I was already a pretty good kid, but then the rebellious kids get away with a lot more. And so staying on top of the discipline, like literally daily, is going to be key. So for our boys, especially like Micah, we didn't have to do it as
No,
much.
my kid
It's
is
just
like,
different with a girl, I feel like. She's very responsible. She's more like me.
it's true.
The boys are a little more, test the waters. But my instant thing is to get angry and frustrated with them. And he's had to talk to me before about let's calmly tell them this is your warning. If you do another thing, then that's going to be a timeout. And then after that, you're going to get a whooping from dad. And so I always have to put down the dad hammer if they don't listen. And usually it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes they get a whooping when dad gets home from work.
Yeah,
And
and I talked to
I
him.
feel sad sometimes,
She feels sad every
listening to
time.
my
She tries
boys
talking me out of
get
disciplining
whooped.
him.
I'm like, "But wait, they weren't that bad." And in my head, I'm like, "They were bad." So,
Yeah. And so I tell them all the time, like, hey guys, mom gave you a warning. Uh, two, then the second time you didn't comply. This is the third time, and I know mom, she was actually maybe the fourth or fifth time. So you're gonna learn one way or another. So here's what we're gonna do. And if they fight me, they're gonna get more. If they don't, then take it like a man. I'm raising men, they're gonna take it like a man. I give them a spanking, I sit down, we talk afterwards and we hug, and I said, don't make me do this. I want to
mhm.
come home and love on you. Don't make me do this. And
And the
it
hardest thing is to not discipline out of anger or spank when you're emotionally angry, and
yeah.
to take some time to where it's not coming from a place where they're feeling that you're mad or upset or frustrated and angry with them, but this is actually just something I have to do because I said I was going to do it, and we're going to move on and we're going to still love each other.
Yeah, and I know it's working because my kids later that night will come and hug me and say, Dad, I'm sorry you had to spank me. I'm just like, that's the best. Okay.
I'm sorry you had to
I'm
spank
great.
me.
So, last thing I want to end on, we could talk about parenting, for days. Um, and don't judge yourself and don't beat yourself up. You could start afresh. Uh,
Mhm.
Kids that are lazy, I watch some of my friends, they're working their butt off and their kids just sit there and watch it. If I see my wife
Family
doing
meeting.
something and my kids don't jump to help them, they already know, like, that's not a Hubbard. You're like, Hubbards get up and help. You go open the door for people. You help your mom. You bring the groceries in. You don't leave your crap around. Like if I'm out washing my car, Maverick's with me. If I'm out getting my razor ready, he's out there with me.
Yes.
That kid is
Taking the trash out.
he's taking the
He
trash out with me.
His little brother spilled something today, and Maverick could tell I was so upset because I was leaving and I had to get somewhere quick. And Maverick didn't say anything. He instantly came inside, got paper towels, got it wet, and came out and cleaned it up for me. And I was like, there's the fruit of good parenting.
Yeah, it's so true. But don't let your parents or your kids get away with doing nothing. Last thing is, I want to leave you. This usually is a business. I just felt like parenting was so important because people are frustrated in these summer months with their kids, and they say to themselves and make inner vows, I can't wait for my kids to get back to school. Which I will tell you this: you only have a certain amount of time with them. Cherish every moment. There's different seasons, different rhythms. Your kids are your legacy. You're their last name. It is so important. And as entrepreneurs, business people, that's what I attract the most on this podcast. This is Advanced Tax 32 Ideas for Hiring Your Child, that if you go to wealthfactory.com, you can get. But these are 32 jobs your child can perform in your business to give you and your family a tax-free income and tax-saving write-off. If you hit me up in the DMs or you find us on Instagram and you text wealth. Yep. you're going to text wealth. And I'm going to send that. I was having a brain. Do I say kids? No. You text wealth. We're going to send you this 32 ideas, or you can go to wealthfactory.com. My buddy has owned this for years. He's one of the greatest tax strategists. And if you need to consult with the CPA, they are incredible. That's Wealth Factory. Check them out. But they gave me this years ago, and I've implemented this. So many great tax strategies to help and leverage your kids, that they can make money in your business, for your business, and be a write-off.
Is it worth telling them about the life insurance thing we have set up for them?
That's a whole nother thing. No,
Okay.
That's a whole nother podcast. I know, it's true. My wife loves to drop that. We do have life insurance policies. We're teaching our kids to be their own banker. And so they are learning that they earn money. My parents, we don't believe in the, whatever those plans are for the IRS. They just want to take your money. The only wealth strategy plan for your kids is be your own banker, whole life insurance policies, that your kids can learn that when my kids are 18, they'll be able to buy their own house with their own money, have their roommates pay their mortgage, and that's how you set it up. They've been having one of those the day they were born. We got them a Social Security number. They've been on payroll, and they're already worth more than a lot of my friends. So last thing I'll tell you is we have our new kids journal coming out. This is the Maverick Entrepreneur Kids Journal, and it's going to be released on Amazon. So check it out. This is just to help raise emotionally sound kids. This is great, ages 8 to about 15. And this has every tool and trick we have applied for our kids along the way. Just a journal with scripture, memorization, getting their thoughts and their emotions on here, and taking them how to reset their mind, take every thought captive, and be the best kids that God designed them to be, with great parenting. So,
Yep. Every child that the Lord gives you is your responsibility to nourish and raise and prune at times, and create an incredible harvest. So that's our goal.
You're a great mom.
Thank you. You're an incredible dad.
Come on, amen. We'll high five later. Anyways, hey, thanks for watching this episode. Hopefully it's helped you, not making you feel like, oh crap, I suck. Listen,
every day is a new day.
Every day is a new day. You can start today. Apply some of these tools, wisdoms, and if we can be any help to you, please reach out to us. We'd love to help resource you. And God bless you, and good luck raising those kids. We'll see you on the next episode of The Maverick Entrepreneur.
See ya.